So I just want to talk to you about these ground screws we use. So here's one here. So the reason we use ground screws is they are approved by building regs. They're hell of a lot stronger than what most, dare I say, garden room companies use. Most garden room companies will use a sort of concrete system where they put rods in the ground with postcrete and dug in, and then they can adjust the height of the rod of the garden room with a nut onto the floor. However, this is what we use. We use ground screws. These are 1250 millimeters long, so 1.25 meters. The reason we use these this length, we can actually use shorter, but the reason we use these is because they're approved by building regulations as well. So if we do need to do a garden room that's approved by building regs, we can use these, and we buy them in large quantity. So we only really want to use one length, which, that said, it's very over-engineered for a smaller garden room, but I'd rather that way than the foundation failing. So putting them in then, just quickly show you now. Tom is doing it as we speak. So this garden, so we've got a 6 by 3 meter garden room going in here. This chap's going to use it as a gym. So we've got our laser level there to make sure that they're all bang on. There's Tom there putting one in. So we've got 24 garden ground screws going in here. We get our height from that back one there, as that's the highest point, and then work from that way. And then once these are in, we'll put our membrane down to stop the weeds coming through. And then we put a damp-proof membrane on top of that. And then the timber frame sits on top of that, which we can then insulate. This is one way of doing it. We also use sit panels if it's smaller and more convenient. For a large garden room like this, we'll use a timber floor if it makes sense. So there's 2 speeds on our machine. We've got fast speed and slow speed, depending on the soil type. Tom's currently on fast speed, so that's as fast as it will go in. As you can see, it slowly makes its way down to the desired height. And we leverage off a spike in the ground. Sometimes they don't go in if we hit rocks and things like that, but most of the time they go in okay. Obviously you need to make sure that there's no underground services before we put the ground screws in. This is done with a site survey and asking the customer themselves. And that's why we use ground screws.